What's up, Colorado Realtors? I'm Scott Peterson. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Legal Bites. As you can see, we're still home officing, home broadcasting, and doing the best we can to keep things together, as I know you guys are. I hope you guys are hanging tight and together out there. I know it's a tough time for you, for your clients, lots of uncertainty, and it just doesn't quite feel like we're getting out of the muck, for better or for worse. But I do have a bit of good news in that I can roll out now and announce to you guys that a document here in my hot little hand has become available literally just as of today when I'm recording this, and it's a COVID-19 addendum. And so I've had a ton of questions from hotline callers and brokers and local association executives and all kinds of people related to what's Colorado doing in order to address an addendum that brokers in the state can use to try and provide a little bit of flexibility in the deals related to COVID-19. And a lot of other states have done things. A lot of brokers in our state have been kind of hamstringing together clauses from other states, and obviously that shouldn't be happening. And so, fantastic news is we now have one. And I'm going to talk just briefly about the contents of the document. The first thing I'll point out to you guys, and you'll be able to download this. If you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be a link to the document below. You'll be able to find it on our CAR website, coloradorealtors.com. We have a COVID portal under the Member Services section, and the Member Services tab, and a drop-down tab, and there's a COVID portal, and you'll find it loaded up there. You're going to get distribution through the Division of Real Estate. We're going to get it pushed out to your software form providers to make sure it's up there. So you're going to have access to it in a lot of places. But before you start using it, I would encourage you to get a copy and get familiar with it. And so right off the bat, I want to point this out. And this is one of the reasons I'm so excited about it. I mean, wish we didn't have to be doing this, but you'll read at the very top, and you can't, of course, read it here on the screen, but this form has been approved by the Colorado Bar Association for use by real estate brokers in accordance with the guidelines provided within this form. This form has not been approved by the Colorado Real Estate Commission. Now, you'll see when you download it and print it out, it looks an awful lot like a Colorado Real Estate Commission approved form. And for all intents and purposes, it will function identically as a Colorado Real Estate Commission approved form under our state's standard form definition list that is now Chapter 7 of the new Real Estate Commission Manual. So one of the things that happened a few years ago during the Sunset Review is that the Bar Association once again worked fantastically with CAR and a variety of other stakeholders to redefine what a standard form is in Colorado. And so we know, obviously, all of your commission-approved forms are standard forms under the definition, but there is, up until this point, been another category of what can be a standard form under statute and commission rule, and that is a commission that is approved by the Bar Association, the Colorado Bar Association, for use by brokers in the state. And so that's what we have here. And before I get into the content, I want to just take a second to acknowledge a couple of entities and folks that were instrumental in making this happen. This has not happened before in terms of the bar promulgating the form, and so I want to especially thank Real Estate Section Council of the Bar Association. It's the Real Estate Section. Its chair, Suzanne Leff, who was incredibly helpful in really pushing this form for us on the side of the Bar Association. I want to thank the Bar Association itself, who blessed the form for their promulgation. And I want to thank Damian Cox, who many of you probably know. He's an incredibly prominent real estate attorney, a good friend of mine, and does an awful lot for the industry, including really lending some of his language to the preparation of the form. He had prepared clauses for use by his own clients internally, and just did a big lift in terms of getting this actual document out and promulgated. So I'll stop with the platitudes, but they are well deserved by the Bar Association, Real Estate Section, and those couple of individuals that I indicated. So, thank them when you see them, or there's a Love a Lawyer Day. Love Your Lawyer Day is later in the year. Send them a bottle of wine or something. Anyhow, just to talk about the details of the form, it's got up here some dates, the date, put in the seller's name, buyer's name, property address, contract date, and then interestingly, this delay period is the defined term, and it's a blank number of days. And so the delay period is the number of days that is going to be invoked by one of these two clauses below that you'll check ultimately. And meant to be used with a contract that is existing. You could add this addendum to it by properly completing it, or to a new contract that you might be preparing as we're in this uncertain time with your buyer and seller. So in the substance of the form, then there's essentially two extension periods, and you could check either or both depending on what you're trying to accomplish. The first extension period is what's described as a COVID shutdown extension. And so the first box you would check, this would be a scenario whereby a third-party settlement service provider, essentially, because of their inability to perform their functions. And so we're talking about lender, we're talking about title company, we're talking about potentially inspector, appraiser, a homeowners association that can't deliver documents. Any third party that is due to this terrible COVID-19 virus that we're all working through right now, because of their shutdown, clerk and recorder's office closes in a certain county. Any of those things occur, then this first box, if checked, would automatically extend all the dates and deadlines in paragraph 3.1 of the contract for the delay period that you fill out up here. So if you put an example that's used in here is, if you put 14-day delay, then all of those dates are going to get pushed back. And it's meant to give everybody, in that case, 14 days to take a breath, let things play out a little bit, as this, everything's changing so rapidly right now that things they're happening far too quickly for anybody's taste, and most of them not terribly good. But if you check that box and a title company or clerk and recorder's office or some other vendor says, listen, I can't, we're not able to process, we've shut down, we can't do what we're supposed to be doing on behalf of your transaction, then that would be invoked by paragraph 1. And then down further in the paragraph, there's an opportunity for the parties, another blank number of days, and that basically says, listen, whatever day we agree to here, and this is presumably a longer period of time, so 30, 60, maybe 90 days, if that shutdown occurs for more than what you put in 30 days or 45 days or whatever the parties agree to through the addendum, if it goes on for that long, then the contract terminates all by itself, and the earnest money would be returned in that case to the buyer, and contract dead. And so that's kind of the ultimate stopgap that you would have available, and again, in the event that this was a delay caused by some third party. The second box, which carries over into the second page here, is what's described as like a quarantine extension, and so this is a situation where one of the parties, the buyer or the seller, is subject to a quarantine due to COVID-19, to maybe a shelter-in-place order where somebody couldn't move, some form of quarantine, mandatory, voluntary quarantine that one of either the buyer or the seller is involved in. Because of that, the transaction can't move forward. In that case, from the point of the quarantine, the blank delay days for delay would kick in, and so whether that's 14 or 10 or 25, it can really be practically as long as the parties negotiate. But so if you fill in that number of days up above and define your delay period as a certain number of days, you can check either or both boxes depending on specifically what the parties are trying to accomplish. And in that case, the contract would automatically be extended out for that delay period. All of the dates and deadlines would be invoked here, so everything would get pushed back, and that's where you would end up. So fantastic form, and as fantastic as anything can be right now. But what it represents in terms of the collaborative effort of a variety of stakeholders is, in my opinion, pretty special, and very much appreciate, particularly somebody like the Bar Association being able to step in and work with the Realtor Association and a lot of other attorneys were involved in contributing to this language and giving their time of it. Good things do come out of these scenarios, and I'm certain that, looking forward, good things will come out of this as well. And so, hang in there, guys. A couple things I do want to mention. We do have the COVID portal on the CAR website, and we are constantly pushing information into that. So if you guys are looking for COVID information as it relates to real estate, national, state, local levels, anything we get, we're pushing into our portal. Again, you can find it at the Member Services tab on our website, and I'd encourage you to check that out. I am going to be doing a webinar Wednesday this week. What is that? Wednesday, it'll be the 25th, from 10:30 till 11:30, 12, whatever you guys want. And I'm going to be, as I've been answering hotline calls, I've been taking notes and kind of keeping track of recurring issues. I'm going to be addressing a lot of those, including, I'll be talking a little bit more about this addendum and a variety of other things, some of the shelter-in-place orders that are going on and the implications of that, earnest money disputes, contract termination, how are people accomplishing closings, open houses, showings, all of those things that I've been kind of tracking as I've been talking to you guys over the last week and a half, 2 weeks. I'll be addressing, and then we'll have a section where you guys can ask whatever questions. You'll see an invite come out. We're going to host it virtually, of course. We're not going to get into a big room and just social distance. We're going to do it over Zoom or some web application. So check that out, and thank you guys for being here. Since you hung around, for those of you, those probably few of you that hung around for my long-winded legal bites here, I'm gonna tell you why I am right now, as we speak, a human mullet. Okay, a human mullet, because I'm business up top. All right, but I'm a party down below. All right, guys. Hey, hang in there. I know everybody is. COVID or not, I'd be willing to make a fool out of myself to try and entertain you guys and hopefully educate you a little bit as well. You see, I brought a banner down to my home office for the Car Legal Hotline. That has expanded hours. I'm glad I thought about this. It is now, for the next 2 weeks, available from 8 to 4 p.m., so 8 hours consecutively. Normally it's 9 to 12 and 1 to 4. We added an 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. shift and a 12 to 1 shift. So it is available consecutively from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Monday through Friday. Trying to service you guys, answer your questions, do what we can, because I know there's a ton of questions and concerns, and hang in there, guys. What you guys are doing is super important from a driver of the economy for helping people manage what is their most valuable asset or their largest purchase, and for keeping things straight. We talk, a lot of you guys hear me talk about realtor value propositions, and to the extent you're ever challenged about what your value proposition is, it's times like these that articulate probably the very best answer that you'll ever be able to. So I know it's tough, but dig in and do what you can to continue offering that value proposition. Keep your chin up, and we'll get through this all together. All right, guys, we'll talk to you very soon. Take care.